Hey guys, like from the Disciples here with several of the guys. It's been a minute, but we've got a prestigious UK Nationals in the next couple of weeks, so we thought we'd get together. There's been a whole host of Nationals over the last couple of weeks. Our very own Cormac Adams attended Irish Nationals, um, and yeah, hi.
Hello.
Oh,
So we got
hello.
Bancroft, Marcus, Moffat, and yeah. What are your thoughts, Bancroft?
Thoughts on the format?
Yeah, why not?
I think it's looking good. I think it's been a very short time this format, but I think a
Hmm.
lot has changed. Like things are changing very quickly, which is it's very interesting to see. I think UK Nats coming up in a couple of weeks. That's the event that we're all prepping for.
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of different options we can play.
Hmm.
Um, I think people have found out now that cash is the best deck. There was definitely a question at the start of the format when people thought that decks like Pearly and Super Heavy, the new decks, but
Hmm.
they've still had success. But I think they've not been as successful as people might have thought they've been. Whatever people think about it.
Um, After playing against Pearly, I think the deck is very underwhelming. I think the Noir card that's cool, but I'm not really a fan of the rest of it. I think it's just missing something. I think like it's just missing that extra little bit of like oomph, right? Maybe that's just
Yeah,
me.
from the
Like
games
it's
that
still,
I've played. Sorry, go on, Marcus.
struggles versus hand traps, and everyone's playing hand traps this
Yeah.
format. And it can get blown up by shifter. Ghost Ogre on my friend Pearly can make it lose some of the plus it gains. And when the deck struggles to like start rolling off,
Mm.
the end board can be underwhelming with like a beauty and like a set Pearly.
Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest difference for me is the like benchmark is cash really this format.
Mm.
And when you think of cash, hand traps like Veiler, Ash, Morna, they like breeze through these hand traps. Whereas Pearly, like these very low impact hand traps and cards are just so impactful against the deck. Like I find it so fragile. And when you go like -1 off a quick base spell, and then your Pearly excavator misses, you're already so far behind. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's consistent enough for a 10 round event.
Yeah,
10
I feel sorry
rounds.
for people who had to invest 500 odd pound in a Pearly deck. Shout outs to them.
Shouts to the
Uh,
homies.
Yeah. However, I think the cards are still good, and I don't think the deck has evolved as much as it could have. I
Mm,
think it
I
can still
agree.
get better, if that makes sense.
I agree. I think that's the same perspective I've had on Super Heavy. I've been saying this about Super Heavy literally for probably the last month. We've been talking like done Super Heavy theory or whatever. I've been saying I think the deck's got somewhere to go. I think obviously the card quality is like really really good, but the issue I have is I think it's just missing a line of play, and I don't know what that line of play is. I don't know where it comes from or anything, but I think that's for
Office
me.
Nightmare.
Stop it. No, no. But like, I think it's just missing that a little bit of like oomph.
I think it struggled at the start of the format because everyone came into it with, oh my gosh, the super heavy deck. We really need to respect it.
Yes, yeah.
People started maining hand traps. The cash zero deck started maining shifter. So it
Mm,
really just started with a handicap.
mm,
But it might, as cash zero becomes more popular, people might decide to start playing less hand trap and decide to play more board breakers because they're better versus cash. And it's probably a logical decision. If you go into a tournament be playing five cash zeros, maybe one super heavy, I'll probably opt for the builds with Book of Moon, with talents. So maybe super heavy will thrive a bit more once the traps uh, decrease.
mm-hmm. I
I
think
agree. I think, yeah,
that's where you go.
I thank you. I would say I think the cards are like inherently powerful, and it's been respected like so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like even now, when you think of a deck this format, like Super Heavy Samurai is very scary. I'm much more scared of Super Heavy than almost every other deck in the game.
Mm-hmm. It feels like one of those decks that if you are not prepared for it and it does just catch you off guard, you just lose on the spot.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it's one of those things where if your main deck doesn't beat it, I don't think you ever beat it post side either. So you still have to respect it, but obviously it's not quite the opposite end of the spectrum compared to cash, but it's like you're building for two different strategies, right? And I think that's where myself as a plant duelist, I get a little bit stuck because I'm trying to accommodate for my deck with all of these hand traps to beat the super heavy deck, but then these hand traps just aren't good enough into cash tier. And I think that's just why I think some of these more let's say fringe decks, these are not like the meta decks, not the decks you're expecting to play against every time. I think these decks might struggle a bit more this format, personally. But yeah, should we look at some of the breakdowns and topping deck lists?
Yeah, we had quite a lot of nationals. Pretty exciting. Seeing these results.
Am I sharing my screen?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So first up, we have a very exciting meta-defining on the popular Israel Nationals.
To be honest,
Second place.
I think it was quite cool just to see that Israeli Nationals was popping off. I think that's like, I don't know how many players they got in the end, but I thought it was just cool.
I think around 150.
Really? That's really cool. That's really cool to see.
Yeah.
They got 124 players.
That's awesome.
Huh.
Like,
Was it? To be fair, this is the first time me looking at the heavy Orcus build. I actually don't know what it does. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know.
What's the line? How they get into the nightmare?
So, okay, this is one of the reasons, for me, the biggest reason why I'm scared of Super Heavy Samurai is when you sit down and they activate like Prodigy, you have no idea where it's going to go. There's so many different things that they can do. And what this deck does is it gets into Bubble, which, by the way, Bubble can add itself back from grave. So you're never locked under spells.
that's cool.
So you give them Ibli. I think you like go to Galatea and then you overlay 4 Gigantic, summon Ibli. And then you link off to...
Give them Ibli.
Yeah.
How?
So you summon Ibli from deck with Gigantic Sprite. And then you link it off into Beat Cop. And then you Beat Cop on their Ibli, so they can't crash for Ibli. And then when they try and attack, you can like Symbol Skeleton, bring back Ding, Pop, I think.
No,
I guess when they try to link away.
No,
Sorry.
So I think what they do is they beat cop the Ibli,
Yeah.
and
They beat
then
cop the Ibli.
they bring back Ding to send anything else, right?
Yeah. When they summon, they bring back. So yeah, they do that to send.
That's pretty cool. I can't lie.
That's pretty cool.
I think that's cool.
Pendulum summoning in the Mech Knight, guys. Seems sick.
I think it's also kind of cool that they're not playing free wagon, even though obviously it does lower the starter count. I think the card quality of wagon is pretty low. I think if I'm ever starting with wagon, that's like the one card, like one starter in my deck I don't really want to start with.
I agree.
So I think it's quite cool that they lowered it. Obviously, you still want it in your deck, so you want access to it at some point for some combos. But I think that's cool that they're not playing. That's like a free of.
What does the Orcus Knight do by itself?
So you go summon Orcus, you send Orcus Nightmare, use the second effect to summon a token. That token goes into Link Rebo, then those two into Galatea. You banish Orcus Nightmare to send Wand, then you Wand, bring back the Nightmare, then you can overlay to Dingisu attach, and then make Masquerena with Barbel, with Nightmare Engraved to bring back Dig on your opponent's turn.
Oh, okay.
Not bad.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess
If
back
that's
with hand
play-
traps, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's a play like if your super
Yeah.
super heavy engine gets interrupted, but you get to the scales at least, you can summon go right.
That's no. I think it's cool.
It's cool. Also, another interesting thing about the deck is when you trigger, what's it called, a Genius, you can, I believe you can search Orcus Nightmare as well, and not just
Yes. Yeah. You can.
Regulus. Yes, that's another way to get into your Orcus plays.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. No, I like it. I like the idea of it anyway.
We got the winners list.
No, we're skipping ahead to the best country in the world.
Brazilian national.
Stop it, bro. Stop it.
We were actually talking about this list. I think Bancroft, you weren't in the call at this point, but I think Gabe was talking about this deck. I thought it was quite cool. I'm not sure how real it is, let's say, but I think the concept of it is
Extra
quite cool.
deck's so funny.
The extract is so funny.
So I actually played against this deck on DB, and I Diabloed his deck. I Diabloed and looked at his extra deck. I didn't know what to banish, and then he scooped, and I didn't actually know to side against Kashtira because I was so unsure what it was. When he did get to go first post side, the end ball was actually really interesting. He can make Utopic F-Zero with a Rise, and he sides in the Eternal Galaxy, which can make Hope Harbinger. And for me, it was like really hard for me to crack that board. It was a lot more robust than majority of cash boards, so I can understand that. But it worked for him. He was XO after Swiss and XO in Top Cut, so
Yeah,
well played.
fair play. I think that's surprising. I think that's a general thing happening at the moment as well. Because didn't the Greek winner, didn't he go 9-0 in Swiss and then win in Top Cut?
Yeah, so did apparently the Swiss winner did too. I'm not too sure. Someone told me the Labyrinth player was XO after Swiss and then one in Top Cut, which is
That's
crazy
pretty-
trend. As people said, the opinion is since this format is very diverse, it's very hard to like counter everything. But I guess all these innovative decks are
They're doing it somehow.
well. I mean, yeah, because I think it takes a lot of skill to like know what every deck does this format. I think that's one of the hard things
No, I agree with you there.
right now.
Yeah, it's like the super heavy thing you were saying, right? You don't know where the combo's going to go.
Yeah.
Especially someone unicorn. Don't know where the combo's going to go.
Well, before you did, but now I.
But now,
Raid Raptor Arsenal fan.
Alright. Next, El Salvador.
El Salvador. Which again, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I think it's cool when I see countries like this having nationals. Obviously, don't know if it's a long.
I think it's great for the
but it's
game.
cool. Yeah, it's cool to see. And I think this is more of the standard super heavy list.
Yeah.
I do quite like it's mainly the Kurikari though. I think that's cool.
Given there's a lot of Kashtira in Top
Yeah,
Cut,
yeah.
and we've seen if you want to win the event and half of Top Cut is Kashtira,
Yep, I
kind of
agree.
makes sense.
I like it's also playing the Dispatter Omega combo. So I'd assume that this man's is trying to summon Omega, Dispatter, Regulus Baron, and then use Omega effect twice basically. So you loop for 2. You probably play through an amount of hand traps. He's not playing the box tunneler, which obviously also not a bad thing because playing box tunneler, not the best cards in Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, I would like to see how some of these decks that don't play tunneler play on turn 2 though. Just if they ever like crack part of your boards, I think it's just like quite interesting to see how they play.
Really big thing I like, he's not playing Appaloosa, and I
Yeah.
thought that card was it's not really 3 negates, so it just feels so outable. At least he's playing Skull Dredge to draw into his 15 hand traps.
Well, I think it's more so to summon
Spell
spell
canceller,
canceller
right?
post side.
That too.
Yeah.
What do you think of the anti-spell on the side?
I don't hate it because really, if once you resolve your combo, you're not gonna be switching out your scales, and then I guess also post side, a lot of what you're losing to are spell cards. It's like the Dark Rulers, that type of card, and this deck seems to circumvent that a lot, that a lot. So you summon your double Omega, you loop for 2, you get 2 Omni negates, you've got hand traps in hand.
Yeah.
This
For
pattern
me,
also interrupts.
Go on. I've tested anti-spell. For me, I wasn't a fan. My issue is their hand traps trade with your engine, and your non-engine needs to kind of like trade with their hand traps, which you can't really do in super heavy. And I understand that, but I don't think it really solves the deck's problems. I mean, listen, it worked for him. I'm sure he'd better theory, but for me, it wasn't working in practice. There's also a slight what's the word? Confliction with the scales when you get stopped turn 1, and then you have anti-spell when you can't scale turn 3.
No, I agree.
But-
I agree with that.
If his meta was filled with breakers, it's a great shout.
I don't know what other going first cards they could play. Like I know Pearly can do summon limit, which I think is like really good. They can't really play the solo,
Yeah.
can't play a pointer, and I think playing hand traps going first aren't as impactful. At least anti-spell trades with like 2 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the alternatives are.
Yeah. I think that's the major weakness with super heavy, right? Is your non-engine is just lower quality than
Yeah.
the other decks in the format.
Mm-hmm. I think I agree with that. You lose, you almost lose like half of the cards in the pool, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think that's just like, if you divide it in 4 between like extract monsters, mains, spell trap, like you just literally just lose like half the cards, and I think that's just such a deterrent for me. But,
Let's go to the next.
yeah.
Yes.
So,
B.
What a thing. Go.
So, I think Wannabe makes more sense in this deck than the IKEA deck, because if you in the IKEA deck, if you just keep on going neg on those cards on your first turn, you haven't got a card in your hand. But like I think in this deck, you just want to try and dig for like any one of your spawn traps, or any one of your traps, really, right? So,
Any of you surprised? Labyrinth won the Nationals? I'm not.
I'm not.
I'm not. I think the decks historically had a good Kashtira matchup, right?
Yeah, especially
We've seen
this
lots of
floodgate
Kashtira.
one.
For me, the biggest thing is that no one's signing back row removal because like it's very hard to make it make sense when there's like 7 meta decks in the format that you don't really need it against, and that hand traps are really good against. Like everyone's playing like ogres, trolls, hammers, or like goes in matches and skill range just become like really, really insane.
Yeah, and we've seen I think every winning list so far playing main decking draw. Even trap decks, which historically can't really main draw because they can't afford the -1. So it's very interesting to see.
I think this deck's cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I don't hate drawing this just because you're just trying to get to your turn so you can set up, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I view draw in this format. I think as long as you just get to your turn, you get your setup on turn 1, like it puts you in a very good position to win the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even when going second.
I think Wannabe is such a sick card, by the way.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like this deck, like Labyrinth also has consistency issues, and it's basically the 5th and 6th pot card in this deck, which is incredible.
It's even funnier when you... Oh, sorry.
Go on.
No, you go on.
Yeah, I was just saying, especially when like you're not really doing much on your turn in this deck, you just go end phase, excavate 5. It's very powerful.
I was gonna say, I think it's even like really cool as well. Like going second, you can Wannabe, and then you can just like try and dig for a pot card, because then like you're seeing as many cards as you can see to see a pot card, then see like your going second card.
Of course.
So then
That's
you
very
Trap only.
Hmm?
You're not trap only, or am I being done?
Yeah, no, it's traps only.
Oh, is it only
Traps only. Yeah.
Oh, is it only
yeah.
trap? Oh, okay. Apologies there.
You imagine if it could.
Oh, I thought it hit spell. See, I don't know. I thought it hit spell trap.
It can hit floodgates. It
Can
can hit floodgates.
That's
But they have
pretty
to
cool.
You just set a skill drain and just flip it.
That's mad. That is. Yeah, no, I really like this deck. I really think it's cool. Might play it for locals this week. We'll see. Ooh, watch out, boys.
Alright. Let's go Costa Rica.
Ooh, another super heavy.
Another
Is
super
that
heavy.
so? It's 2 super heavy. You know what? I didn't actually expect super heavy to win 2 nationals.
Here we are.
Here we are. All I've
To be
really
fair, this one-
say... Oh, sorry, you go.
No, this one also plays like a very similar side deck to the one we saw before with anti-spell. So, it's been working.
Yeah. All I can say about the list is I really don't like how it's been put onto the template. Like, the aesthetics are not there. But I like that it's mainly Fenrir. I think mainly Fenrir is really cool in the deck.
Good wishes.
That's
Bruce-
my European champion.
There's actually one other cool thing in this deck is he's playing the Super Heavy Samurai Sarutobi Synchro,
Yeah.
which is a quick effect MST on your bonus turn.
Hmm. I think it's
So
cool.
it's cool in like half lines, especially when you get like drolled. It's like say you're playing that Labyrinth deck earlier, and you get drolled, you can go with Prodigy, summon the Super Heavy Samurai from deck, and then go into Sarutobi, and that's an MST on top of whatever else you're doing under draw.
Hmm. No, I like it. I really like that card as well in this deck, but I don't think the list's bad. It's just kind of the kind of super heavy deck we saw at the beginning of the format, right?
Yeah.
Like the generic list we were seeing, like going into it. So again, good starting place, really.
Our favorite country.
Love Island.
This guy is it's the second or third time he's won as well, right?
It's his
Third
third.
time he's won an
time.
international. That's insane.
What a guy!
Yeah.
Is he the only person to win 3 national championships?
In my head, he is. There might be someone else.
Yeah.
I know the Swedish guy. He won his second at this weekend.
Back to back is insane.
Back to back as well. But Live Twin Sprite again. It's one of the decks we haven't seen as much recently, but I think this deck's not bad. His deck just looks consistent. That's all I can really take away from it. It's consistent. 12 hand traps, like 14 cards going second in main deck. Just consistency.
15, bro. You forgot about the MVP, the Gamma Burst.
Oh,
Come
I'm
on.
sorry, sir. I am
You said
sorry. Attack. You know what? I still haven't read Gamma Burst, and I probably should. But
Has
Oh,
a secret graveyard effect that I'll use later.
that one I know. They gain like 1400, but
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
that's the technology.
Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see why people switch from Melfi to Live Twin, because I think this deck actually plays better into Ghost Ogre,
Mhm.
as the Melfi Sprite really was. Catty was against Ogre was pretty bad. Gigantic Sprite, you were very reliant on Gigantic Sprite resolving. At least this deck, the Live Twins can still trigger the Ogre, so it's at least
Mhm. Mhm.
it's alright. And this deck also draws into quite a few hand traps, and since the format is a bit more diverse, it's pretty useful.
No, I think it's cool. Not a terrible pick.
So we did have the winner.
Yeah. At the
Surprise.
opposite end. Surprise.
Right. Twist.
Again, I'm not surprised that a Despia deck made it all the way to the finals or even won an event. I think the Despia cards, it is good. I just think it's a bit hard to play it into such a hand trap heavy format. But again,
I think some hand traps are very bad though against this deck, like
Agreed.
Ghost Ogre, Draw Not Bird on favorable. A lot of
people aren't playing Ash, so that helps as well.
pretty much the Despia hate that was in last format, I
Yeah.
think has decreased. A lot less contact Cs.
This is like the first list that's also siding back row removal.
So respect that nationals.
That's not exception card trained.
It's got like 3 targets for cross out.
Yeah.
All you need is Ash, right?
Yeah, to be fair, all you need is Ash. All
All you need is Ash.
But to be fair, he's probably again, you never know what they're playing in Israel as well, right? They might not all be playing Kashtira.
Yeah.
So it might not be as Kashtira heavy, so other decks can be more favourable. As we saw, like the Orcust super heavy deck got second as well.
Despia is a very scary deck, I'll be honest.
Agreed. If someone competent that know what they're doing, they just gimmick Papa U and they actually have interrupts on top, it's GG. Every time.
It's GG. And Quem is a crazy card. The amount of people that will misplay into Quem is mad.
That'd be me. Easy. And then there's breakdowns as well.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Is that all of the championships so far?
Yeah, it's all of the winners that
We
we've got.
didn't have the Swiss winner, and we didn't have the. We did have the Swiss winner.
Swedish.
We did have the
Swedish winner.
Swedish, yeah.
Got that profile, and we did have the Greece winner too, the Melfi Spriteless.
Yeah. I think that'll probably be up later in the week, but...
Yeah, I don't think I lifted this up yet.
So, Greece,
That's pretty strong top cut.
I think it was
What about
top
Greece?
16 cut.
Yeah.
And yeah, 50%, so that's 8 out of
That is
16
wild.
on
That's even more
cash.
impressive than.
I think, to be honest, the most impressive bit about this is that there's 2 swords on top cut. That's
That's
hard.
hard.
That is
Yeah, that
crazy
is-
to me.
That is the
That is
craziest part.
mental.
No, that happened.
2 sword soul, 2 Dragon Link as well. And then,
Dragon Link is a very good deck, by the way. That
Very
deck
good. Yeah,
got some very
Dispatter.
nice tools. This
Yeah.
patter is mad.
It is crazy.
I think, again, it's one of those decks where if cash isn't there, I think that deck has a lot of room to grow and actually be like one of the best decks in the format.
For sure.
That was just free for them, really.
Yeah.
It's just a free
It's a free tool,
return.
for real. So that's Greece, 50% thingy. Top G. Rika
Is that
San
Rika
Avalon.
San Avalon?
Yeah, so again, I'm not entirely sure how these got there, but that's 2 of them. A Math Mech as well. We haven't mentioned Math Mech yet, which Legend has it's like 8.5% score.
What?
You know what? I haven't seen many Mathmechs in these top
No.
cut breakdowns.
No.
Same.
Those were really good,
Very
and the
few.
deck was really good.
I
Do you
the
know
way
what I have seen? I've seen sided Magnemats in about 60-70% of the deck
True.
that we've covered.
True.
Right, and I think Bistio just
Destroy
wrecked that deck.
it. I think for me, I think Magnum. I think Mathmech is at some of these larger nationals that we're going to see over the coming weeks. I think Magnum is a Swiss deck, not Magnum. I think Mathmech's a Swiss deck. I think you can get through Swiss with Mathmech. I don't think you can get through Top Cut though. Personally,
I agree.
I think there's too much against
Say that to
you.
Leon.
I don't want to say that to Leon. He's gonna beat me up. No. But that's just my opinion. I just don't think it will get you there. And as you see, that's the first Mathmech we've seen so far. Labyrinth
Sprite?
as well. No Sprite. Pearly as well. That's the first time we've seen Pearly. There's 2 of them.
It's good.
And then the lab guy took it home, right? It's crazy.
Yeah. I think that. How the fuck did Eldritch make it?
No one was signing trap removal
No
at
one's
Swiss
signing
Nationals.
Yeah.
I feel like Labyrinth is just better than Eldritch though.
Yes. Yeah.
Nah, it's
When you think about...
Sorry.
Go on. Go on.
Okay, it's like that. It's like the turn 3 you get the interrupt, right? With your Eldritch deck, you get your turn 3
You
interrupt.
summon a vanilla, or you summon a guy that like
Yeah. But you get it on turn 3 though. It's okay. You'll get it one
and
day.
protects and just summons like.
You'll
Alright,
be-
last one then.
Oh. Sus.
Wheel in.
So I think this was top 8 breakdown compared to the top 16s of the other 2.
Yeah.
Labyrinth again.
Yeah, so there's 2 Labyrinth, 3 Cash, 2 Super Heavy, 1 Rincess. Again, we're seeing more, seeing 3 Labyrinth in these top cuts out of like 40 players. Cash Tira is probably around the 15 player mark. Super Heavy's actually been doing quite well as well.
Yeah, very well.
Which is
Done very well.
if you'd asked me at the beginning of the weekend, I would not have said Super Heavy was one of these decks I'd expect to see a lot of representation from.
Fair, it can still do a lot, and it's very
Agreed.
still more innovation in it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I'm just like too UK based. I've not seen many Pearly players, and not seen many Super Heavy players.
I've seen many Pearly players, just not many in Top Cut.
I've not seen them at the at where I'm meant to be seeing them then. There's not much to say. Like, it's just we all thought Kashtira is going to be the like D deck, and I know it did win Swedish Nats, but it hasn't won any of the other events, right? It's been in the finals, I
One-
believe.
It's
One
two
Portuguese
events.
nationals.
Oh,
Yeah,
they win
Portuguese
Portuguese nationals.
I think we got the list. I don't know if we got the
I
list.
don't think I saw it.
I don't have it.
Oh well, it's
But
probably a Kashtira
I'm not
list.
surprised though. Like it's like at YCS London, Cashdare was the best deck. Everyone was prepping for it as like the best deck,
Mhm.
and it still took top spots. But
Mhm.
going into the new format, people kind of like stopped respecting it, and then yeah, of course it just
It just took it again, yeah.
dominated. It dominated even harder, I would say.
Mhm.
Like, there's
I
even more
agree.
decks now, and it's still like dominant.
Nah. So how after seeing like the breakdowns, how does it make you feel about lead up to our nationals? We've got another set of nationals this weekend, I'd assume. I can only assume. And then we've
Yes.
got UK nationals last weekend in May.
I can still see Kashtira dominating because it's very hard to prepare for Kashtira and prepare for all the other decks.
Mhm.
You can decide to play loads of hand traps and prep for super heavy.
Mhm.
Kashtira can trade like pretty favorably into hand traps such as Olga and sometimes draw.
I agree. Again, it just depends if you want to try and aim for these like field breaking cards, or if you want to try and aim for hand traps, or if you want to just play shifter and it'll be enough and you just play it like a mix. It's quite diverse, and then you have these trap decks which are just saying like, I'm just gonna Lava Golem you and then set 4 floodgates and it'll be fine. Like, it's really diverse, and I don't want to deck build. It just makes it really hard to deck build.
Yeah, it's really
Um,
difficult, like you said, with the plant stuff, right? I guess a lot of decks have similar issues where, like, okay, do I play 12, 15 hand traps, or do I play like 3, 6, and then a few board breakers? If you go full board breakers, like, you really have to like look at what you've got, coming up for your nationals and make a decision based on that.
And the difficult bit as well, what hand traps do you even play if you're playing the hand traps?
Yeah.
What board breakers do you even play?
Ash is so good against some decks, and then it's so average against some, and like
It's like
it's the same for,
it's
like, most of
it's
them, right?
like Ash is crazy versus everything that's not super heavy, and Kashtira, which realistically, they're the decks you want the hand traps for. So like,
Yeah.
what do you do?
I think
like,
we've seen Cash and Super Heavy being the two best decks, which makes sense in a format so wide. You want a deck which is powerful and can play like lots of non-engine, and I think Cash and Super Heavy do those two things the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't want to deck build. Someone deck build for me, plus.
I think it'll be exciting. I think it's still very early stages of a format, right? Like we've there's not been a consensus for a lot of these decks. We've seen different Kashtira builds, even the non-engine. I've seen some lists of talents there, some lists with econ, some with like 15 hand traps, and obviously the mad amount of variance in super heavy as well, and even labyrinth. So yeah, there's a lot of different stuff, and I think it's one of the hardest formats to prep for.
Agreed.
I think there's so much skill in it because like you have to know a lot of matchups, and a lot of times I feel like when I lose matches is because I could have had more information or gained more information. But it's going to be exciting.
I think it feels very similar to last year's nationals, where it was just, if you know your deck very well, you're already like way ahead of the field. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think
Mystic Mine, Despia.
Oh no, my bad.
I think
Sorry, sir.
for me, the hardest part of this format it's definitely the deck building, right? But it's also because realistically, our nationals is also the first big event, right, of this format since the new sets came out, and there isn't like a bigger nationals, I don't think, before our one. I heard it's 1,200 people, which
Really?
for UK, yeah. So if that's like current as well, there might be more tickets, right? So that's not only like the biggest UK nationals, but it's the first big European event. I don't understand how I'm gonna deck build. Am I gonna play plants again? Am I gonna play
You gotta win
something else? But I gotta win it. I gotta do better.
Got to win it. We got to win it.
We gotta win it.
I'm excited.
I'm
Got to win
excited
it.
too. But yeah, I haven't really got much else to say. I don't know about you guys.
Oh.
It's quite open ended. We might.
You guys,
To be back.
have been, yeah, you guys. Speaking of playing Yu-Gi-Oh, well, I've been away a bit, but you guys have been like grinding locals, going to tournaments. Bet you've been in London every other weekend. How's it been?
I've learnt a lot. I think like I stayed with Marcus for the weekend. I felt like I was just soaking up information, like as much as I could get. And I know Marcus was. I know he had the pen and paper out ready. Like we were just like trying to get as much information as we could. And
Yeah.
I definitely think it was really worthwhile. I learnt a lot, but I still don't really know what I want to do right now.
There's still so much to learn, but I think we're nearly there.
Yeah, agreed. It's 2 more weeks. Fuck.
Yeah, can't wait to steal all the strats.
We'll send a spreadsheet your way for $20. It's okay. But yeah, I think that's it from us. Anyone got any last comment, or are we all good? Cool. I'm hyped for Nats as well. If you see us, come say hi. Especially Bancroft, he loves it.
Is it?
But yeah, shout to Brotherhood. They've got a winner box. I think it's winner. Yeah, it's winner box, right?
Yeah.
On this coming Sunday. So if you're in London, you want to get some testing in for the new format ahead of the YCS, come on down. There'll be plenty of friendly faces there. Yeah, shout out Brotherhood, Metamats, maybe Gamers Apparel, maybe, pending order, and yeah, let us know if you enjoyed the podcast. Go follow us on Twitter, and yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. See you in the next one.